curiosity in the moment of that happening, measuring that, creating data, and monetizing that, and making the cake commercially a lot bigger from a single view than just the ad model. So for us, what we really wanted to do, we started with the music kind of thesis to begin with. We really wanted to take creators and allow them to create meaningful engagement, data, and revenue from a single view, okay, as I mentioned. Recently, we've realized that actually, because we're measuring all these interactions, we're creating something quite unique, our secret sauce, if you will. And so this deck is a little bit more focused on the data side of things. And I guess our mission statement now from a data perspective is that we want to create the largest marketplace for video engagement data on planet Earth. And so I was thinking about some of the slides we had from earlier in there, yesterday and so on and so forth, about industries that are trending and what's valuable on planet Earth, and e-commerce was up there, video was mentioned, data is all over it, AI is there. These are all things from a market sort of growth perspective and opportunity perspective that we're tapping into. So I think we're in the right place at the right time. So the problem as we have it today, if we just sit with this for a second, on the viewer side of things, you'll see something, and it could be in a David Attenborough documentary, you want to know what beach is. To the YouTube thing, I just call it the mega view advertising model. I think it's broken. Advertising model, I think it's broken. The concept that if you only have 1,000 views of your video, that that's not good, who told you that? Per view.
Wow.
That's a lot. We see this trending. All of our videos aren't, this is probably the best one that's got a lot of cooking in it, but we see this as being a trend across the thing, and I think we'll look at it, you'll start to understand that this is data that is measuring what people are engaging with now in video. This is actually what the secret sauce of the business is. So we create these dashboards, and what we're now tracking is obviously things like location. We don't track personal information. We really want to be a good business, which means doing things ethically, doing things better. So I don't want to track personal data, I don't know your height, your weight, your color, anything like that. I generate insights. So I can measure, for example, in this scenario here, I can say, hey Nike, would you like to know which content creators on planet Earth are wearing Nike that we work with, and that are already selling shoes as a category to their fans, because they love them, because we're measuring that. And would you like to know who they are? So this is, the model here really is to sell this data when it gets to critical mass. The next phase of this business is actually getting to that critical mass so we can monetize the data. So this is really our secret sauce. We share the data with the artists. Butter and Biscuit, that artist that we just had up before, from their 1,000 views to get the attention of the brand. But holy crap, to get the attention of the brand. But holy crap, the data is, because suddenly they demonstrate an attribution. This is really about power and putting it in the other's pocket. So this is something that's quite a recent development this year. This is a quote from a chap at Sony Music, and Paul will probably know this guy. He gave me this quote, and he said, look, this data you just showed me is more powerful to me as a marketer than anything I've ever got from YouTube, or from Google. From that perspective, to help him secure brand deals and work out which artists were good and trending and blah, blah, blah. So this was always a really big quote. And Google approached us in February, said, hey, can you come and join our scale-up program? And I said no. Actually started the program originally, I said no, because of this statement, it's a little bit aggressive. And I said, look, I'll just tell you what I tell everybody, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I said, currently we're measuring 150 times more revenue per view than YouTube. That's what our data is telling us that we'll measure it, 150 times. It's about 13.7 cents. Pence, sorry, about 15 cents. And I'm creating data that you guys can't do. They said, prove it. We showed them the data, dashboards, and walked through them. They said, actually, you're right. We don't know what's in a video because we don't care what's in a video. We want that video just to be viewed millions of times. So the video to Google, or to YouTube, and segue Google and Alphabet, it could be a cat falling off a chair into a bucket of milk. If it has 1 billion views, that's what they care about. So they can serve billions of adverts. They don't really care what's in the video. We do. We know what's in the video, how much engagement it gets, and what yield is. We'll come back to the question, I'm sure. So they ended up giving us 250,000 as an R&D grant. Accenture came along as part of that deal. Google paid them, I didn't, thankfully. And they're just going through an upgrade of our dashboards to like an enterprise level dashboard that gives us much more functionality. There's a little video at the end. It's giving some access to AI and things like that, with Rob Babs probably. But we're using this money to really supersize our data offering. Okay. So the other thing that happened this year, when Google did that and gave us the money, we got inquiries from other content types. So suddenly, curiosity, as it turns out, is ubiquitous in all video, from cooking to golf to politics. So we actually we are a pre-revenue business, and we really focused on measuring and kind of at least getting the model right as far as we could do. We make money, I hate to say it, Matt Hancock, if you're an English person, works for me. That's perhaps not a good thing about it. Matt Hancock was the health minister during COVID. He was the guy that was on TV every single day, ruining most of our lives. So he works for me now, he's retired from politics, and he introduces us to a PAC in the US, the US election. We, in the last 2 weeks of the US election, did this project in Arizona for them. One video was a white label, embeddable SaaS thing. We changed the design a little bit, take our logo off and change a few of the buttons. $26,000 for one video for 1 month, not for 2 weeks. That's a spiky bit of money. So actually we've been invited out to America, in Washington in December to see 2 or 3 big PR firms in the sort of lobbying space. Because while the election's over, the mission never stops for the sort of educating people. But the data that comes out of this as well, I'm not making this shoppable. They're paying me a fee. And so when you see this video and she's talking about inflation, there's an inflation button and you can click on it and it gives you a little summary of what their inflation position is. And then I can click on it again and it takes me to a page which gives me their official policy on inflation and crime. And so suddenly this is now an educational tool and I just do it as a SaaS fee, and it's not like the music, it's a different model. The data that comes out of this is quite scary, because I know that, for example, show me all the people in Arizona that were really interested in immigration. And people in North Arizona were immigration, and South, you can start seeing trends of what people are interested in a political context, in a single video. What becomes really crazy, if we say go to the Democratic Party, and we do hundreds of videos, we might get to sort of 6 months into that project and say, which of our politicians and which video are really, really effective at driving engagement in any of these issues? Immigration, tax, crime. You press a button, blah, 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 and it shows you all the videos that created engagement for that issue and who's the best, in what location, at what time. This then, well, let's get that person from Arizona to talk about immigration, because bloody hell, they're good at it. Even though they only had 10,000 views, and Kamala Harris had 1 million views, or whatever it was, that guy is actually per view a higher yielding video than this one. So this is where the data gets a little bit crazy, and you can see where potentially the value is for us there. So on the market opportunity, I struggle with this one because we just know it's big. So we just took our average measured value so far is 15 cents, as I mentioned. So we just applied that to portions of the video market. It's a crazy big market. I mean, music is a smaller market than politics. But politics has been quite a big one this year. But we've also got, we're building a wine version, we're building a horse version, and an adventure version, because we've got people that have come to us from those industries and said, I'm the top influencer in the wine industry, can I come and work with you? So we're taking these inbound leads from that perspective for a B2B model. And as I say, for us, just want to stress that while it looks like shopping on the front end, it's not about shopping. I think there's a lot of people that try to do and continue, I hope, to the question that I hope everybody tries this, because I think users need to evolve their behavior. If I'm doing it on my own, I'm the only person doing it as a company, that's hard. The more people doing it, the more companies trying, I just want to be the best. So that's kind of our view on that. And as you can see, I've mentioned most of these things. The revenue streams, just so you know, obviously e-commerce is one, so click-through affiliate money. Clicks, though, are probably for us right now, the most immediate. This is just paying CPCs. Like, what's that jacket? It's a Versace jacket. We're doing click-through rates from our data, on average, 36% click-through rate. And that's all 35 videos projects we've done. That's the click-through rate that no advertiser has ever seen on planet Earth, because we're not pushing ads. All of our data is, oh God, I love this video, it's cool, what's that jacket? So the person's engaged naturally anyway. So we're seeing that this is think small to think big is another kind of notion here. In our business model, that's how we make money. This is the 3 ways. On the music side, it's a performance model. So we work almost exclusively right now with independent artists, because actually they're easy to approach and you can meet them at lunchtime and be live by the evening. Labels are hard to deal with and they're not really innovators. So we don't charge them anything, but we share 50-50 the revenue. And on the software as a service side, like to the politics guys, it's just a monthly SaaS fee, and we charge them for that. So it's a pretty traditional model. A lot of these numbers I've already mentioned, sort of as we've gone through, in fact all of them. We've done 25 live pilots. There's actually more pilots than that, but these are the ones that were live on artists' websites that were organic. This is our average click-through rate. This is the e-commerce conversion rate, and these are some of the numbers now in pence. I've got dollars and pence in here, I just noticed, with regards to the yields that we're measuring right now. The next phase of the business is to scale it and monetize the advertising out of it. We do have some LOIs with artists. I'm not a big fan of LOIs. We said, would you work with us once we go live? Once we've raised the money that we're looking for, will you come and work with us? So we've got 63 artists in Africa, a lot of North Africa. London has actually have 180, if you add them all up, 180 million Instagram followers. So we do quite well just focusing on these 63 artists, nothing else, once we've raised capital, but that's not our entire approach. So we've built the tech, we've done these pilots, we did the Google thing, we're measuring lots of data points, we are patent pending on the IP side, and I think notably these are awards that I think quite typically we see in the music space. This one here though is the one that we're working with at the moment. I mentioned in a couple of questions, we're working with Abbey Road Studios. This is one of the best incubators. There's no strings attached, you just get help, and the community is a bit like this one, everybody's helping out. This is really powerful, but it's validation from the industry that what you're doing is solving a really cool problem, and we want to try and help you kind of scale. Feedback was mentioned earlier. We surveyed, did a big survey last year of Gen Z kids and got this data. So we're just always doing that thing as we do in tech, of checking in to make sure what we're building is solving a problem. And this is our roadmap. Predominantly to keep this really super simple, raise money, onboard artists using some of those partners that we've been talking about. We have a marketing project with a great music video project. It's kind of like our version of the MasterCard Grid Awards type thing. It's a competition that we actually inject money into artists and make partnerships with brands. So that will onboard artists and acquire data to build fear of missing out, actually, for the labels, to prove that we can monetize, to prove that we can demonstrate 15 cents per view. If I do this for 200 artists over 50 million views, as the next slide I think will say, if I onboard 200 artists and get around 50 million views from 500 music videos, and I can achieve an average of this, I can go to New York and knock on Billboard's front door and go, I want a front cover of Billboard magazine. Because this is fundamentally now a new way for artists to make money. Independent artists mine as well. And because of the amount of data points we're collecting, this would generate about 1 billion data points of what's in a video, what brands, products, and at that point you can start monetizing data in quite exotic ways. The partners to deliver this are these guys, principally at the top. So these guys have said they'd help acquire these artists. And these guys are people that provide service to the industry that have said, we will give you all the services you want for free, like lawyers, PR people, bands who go do websites, Patreon. Some of the foundations, and AIM is the biggest music association. So this is people like, again, looking at what we're doing and saying, we'd like to help you. And this is where we see this billion data points coming from initially. Majority music, to be honest, but politics is worth a mention because it could be some money in that. And then we've got these niches that we're working on. So these are the projections. You can interrogate me on this separately, I guess. I've given some kind of narrative as to how we go about this, but I've just talked to you about that. These are new and exotic revenue streams. It's made up. But it's based on really solid assumptions of what a click is worth and what e-commerce yield we can collect. So it's based on quite conservative assumptions of existing revenue streams or economies. And that's about it. We are looking for 3.5 mil. We're going to spend it mostly on marketing, because we've built virtually everything we've done. We haven't done any marketing to date, 0. Everything's been organic. So, but we still need to build tech, need to build the team in the US as well, and obviously just on the infrastructure side, we are a streaming business, so we need to focus on stuff like that there. So this is how the money is going to be spent, and this is the team. So I would say at the moment, the leadership team of this group, obviously myself, Julie introduced me, so I'm the Ericsson, I'm a PwC guy originally. Paul is our COO. I call him Grumpy Paul. He actually came to join us when we did our first round of interns, which was Paris and Mia, who's not on here anymore. And he came to me as my 3rd intern. He's 68 years old. So someone said, what's that movie with De Niro in it? So it's a bit of that. But he's Grumpy Paul. He's the guy that tells me I can't do anything. Which is good for a COO, to be honest. And he's relentless, and he's ex-US Navy. So once he's got something in his teeth, he doesn't get it. So he's a good guy to have. And then people like Congo now was head of marketing for Warner Movies in Europe for 15 years. This is the guy that created Harry Potter and Batman in our psyche. Pretty Liverpudlian, straight talker. And then Derek over here is kind of like my go-to head of strategy, chairman. He actually, again, is a very impressive guy. He was a COO of the Guardian newspaper group for 14 years. He then was managing director of Comic Relief, which is the biggest entertainment charity in the UK, and restructured that. And he now looks after Richard Branson's charities from a structural perspective. And so that's, and then, again, it's quite a senior team. There's a lot of experience. There's quite a young team as well that are connected with the music industry. But we do want to obviously build this out moving forward. And that's it. I've got a little video to show you of the AI side of things. So this is the last 2 slides, and hopefully the video will work. So one of the challenges, I think, and I'm new to this space, so having Google as my buddy that can ask all the technical questions to is quite good. But data is a big problem in the AI world. Who owns it? Where did it come from? How do you teach it? Especially in the music world, if AI is making music, there's a lot of the rights issues that Paul's fully aware of, right? But our data is proprietary. It's all ours. It's inside our kingdom. So I know what is in video now, because that's what we index. I know what audiences are engaging with in a particular video. So I get engagement. And then I monetize it, so I create ROI, financial data. So what you'll see in a second is basically an AI, I call it a conversational dashboard, where an artist can actually say to the AI, hey, based on the data from my last 3 music videos, what's the stuff that's trending and what should I do? Which is historical kind of context. And they'll say, well, your fans are like this. The video will say it. But the thing he's explaining is one of the things we will build, and it's quite straightforward to do, is a brand marketplace. So I create 100 brands inside our own environment. It's like a hyper-engagement affiliate across 10 different categories: instruments, hotels.
Data insights from your latest videos. Shoes are a hit. 5 categories stand out: shoes, alcohol, fashion, sunglasses, and music gear. But shoes, total fan favourite.
Nice, shoes are my jam. Let's start there, then we'll hit the others. Which brand has crushed it with my fans?
Nike. Your engagement was 25% higher with them, with a 43% click-through rate. Plus, 2.1% of those clicks turned into sales. Your fans love those shoes.
Well, looks like it's Nike again.
Oh wait, Victor's just landed a deal with Adidas. Double the commission of Nike. And they've got a similar shoe to the style your fans already love.
Ooh, that's tempting.
Click on the one you want, and I'll add it to your basket.
Adidas it is. More dollars in our pocket. This is huge.
Let's move on to alcohol. I've flagged some hot opportunities. Okay, your basket's full. Oh, and guess what? Several brands brands want to pay extra to use your content for Victor's-enabled show reels.
Seriously? So they'll pay me for my content?
Exactly. More exposure for you, more fans and more revenue, boosting every video's yield.
Love it. Thanks, Vicky.
My pleasure, Keith. Your gear will arrive in 5 to 10 days. Looking forward to seeing them in your next video.
Yeah, so yeah, we built a product, we tested it. Google thinks what we're doing is pretty cool. I mean, that was a huge boost in the arm when actually they turned around and said, actually, what you're doing is really cool, and here's some money. And they do this to a lot of startups, so they want to overplay it, but they still give us access to engineers, and even those engineers are like, oh wow. And the data guys were like, because we were using Looker Data Studio, they said, you've never seen anybody create data like this that's so useful. So that's really cool. We're raising capital to onboard those artists, so 3.5 mil. Our pre-money valuation is 12 mil. And the goal really is just to, yes, we've got e-commerce and these other revenue streams, but we really fight to get this billion views because data is the holy grail as far as we're concerned. And it's our secret sauce that Pat is Vicky, and we can start selling search terms and other kind of exotic ways of making money that Google are making us aware of. And that's it, yeah.
That's brilliant. And so how would you describe, would you say you figured out the unit economics, you've got the product market fit, how would you describe your kind of classical VC approach? Where are you?
I think because we started building the business and the idea in 2020, so back then it was kind of like stay pre-revenue and focus on product market fit and testing and iterating. And we actually, in terms of that side of things, we went to a company called Dis to answer the question, if you wanted to build a cooler, better version of YouTube for the future, what would you build? That company, really cool company, ended up with like 500 proposals that were sent to us. I have a red book on my desk, which has got all the notes from all these ideas, from all these kids. And we had 20 kids in a room, and we spent 2 days with them, designing 99.9% of what we've done here. The big difference, I guess, is that they wanted an app. We haven't built an app, we've built it in embed. So I think to answer the question, product market fit, validation from the industry that what we're doing is cool, that's clear. Validation from partners like Sony AWOW and United Masters, who give us access to huge numbers of artists, just through integrating with an API with United Masters. It's over 1 million content creators, right? And they can participate in this. This tool helps them attract artists to their business.
Yes.
So I think this is really about product market fit, testing, validating, getting to this point where, okay, we want to go out there and be the best in this space. So we need to raise money to speak about moving this business forward and accelerating and scaling it. So, yeah, that's kind of it.
Questions from Mark? Yeah, Chris, and then Paul? Go ahead.
Another good presentation, an interesting company. I completely agree. I see why everyone's getting excited about your data. But I've got a question and a follow-up one based on the answer. But what's your AI team? So you talked about AI. Who's doing the AI work within your team?
So at the moment, because we're working with the Gemini team at Google, and we're helping us with the data as well. So we're like, I want to use this, and I use the word AI quite lightly. I think it's a talking dashboard. It's actually, so the dashboard you saw there is our old dashboard. Our new dashboard has it's natural language search terms in there. So I can already type into the dashboard what's the most popular lipstick in rap music videos, and it will give me a dashboard that shows me these things. That's actually quite useful in itself, and you can sell that to corporates. But to put a talking avatar at the front, and then saying, oh, we'll get the Gemini team to do it, and it's AI, to me, it's not like AI like some of you guys are doing in any way, shape, or form. But I think it creates great usefulness. And for me, that is a very powerful thing. Because artists don't sit down and look at dashboards. They'll sit and talk to an avatar, which I don't see any reason why the experience would be exactly like that. And that they've done 10 brand deals in 3 minutes.
Which leads me to I would have bet on that being the answer.
Yep.
And one little thing I don't talk about a lot, but I do AI consultancy to VCs, learn to take due diligence.
We talked about
I think that's probably why I brought up, because my feedback would be, it's nice, it looks great in videos, but you're missing a massive trick of actually doing
Yeah.
A good VC, a good VC who hires me, I tell him that, yeah, it's cute, it's interesting, and it'll get clicks, but that's not AI. And I know you're spending your Google, I know the tech you're using, and I know what Google's doing for you now.
Yeah.
But you're truly missing a trick on doing some real AI markups on this. And I think you need to get actual AI data scientists probably initially.
Yeah, so
to come and really boost that business up.
So there's a company in Wales called Pivotal AI, which is an AI consulting firm, probably not too dissimilar to yours. This budget, there's $500,000 in there for AI. We've just said, we've got one of the right ingredients we think of creating value out of AI, which is the data. Let's work out how to build it, what it looks like in the future. That's part of the journey. This was just basically, I guess, I wanted to bring it to life in my own head, so I didn't have to explain it so much.
Right, and I'm saying what I'm saying to be positive.
Yeah.
In the sense that you've got the hard bit, you've got the invaluable bit.
Yeah.
You've done the hard work, you just need to get, and I think we discussed, the markup for AI companies isn't really the models, it's the data.
Yeah.
You have the data, but I would argue you can get a lot more value and a better
And I would love that
So
conversation.
I want to make sure I'm being positive about it.
No,
the hard bit.
I mean, this is that classic, we see that we've unlocked something on the data side, and we know that there is some application, and I've kind of worked quite in a Diet Coke way about this, quite light. Whereas I need some serious, Gatorade, Prime, Coca-Cola AI guys to come and help us out. So 100%. But I just think that the trajectory of that, for me, I've kept it super simple.
Like, I knew this presentation was going to be awesome. I love you, anyway. So we talked about a bunch of stuff like yesterday and the day before, and a lot about like my tech, your tech.
Yeah.
So, have you thought about, well, we talked about this, like, using AI in the videos and actually doing all that automatically instead of having humans doing it and so on. I think they can help you with that.
Yeah, no, one of the questions of this business is scale. Actually, how do you process millions of videos? Because the addiction of most VC investors is the YouTube model. You need millions of everything and millions of videos uploaded every second. Yeah. I'm like, well, that's actually, YouTube's pretty good at that, so why would I try and do that, firstly? So, secondly, we do the opposite. We want to make value out of single view. But speed is always going to be in processing and using AI.
The issue is going to be the cost.
Yeah.
Because it's, so anyway, we are deeply involved into decentralized computing AI, which is like 1/10 of the cost of anything else that you see. Yeah. And it's a community driven, and you could drive your own community.
So stuff like this, like blockchain isn't mentioned up here much. It's for the same reason as it's kind of Diet Coke at the moment, where we're Web2 business, that some of this money will go to blockchain. One idea was like, hey, if you want to scale this, why don't you get like a core group of 10,000 super fans, put them on the blockchain, and every time they identify something, they get a micro payment.
Yeah.
Right? So suddenly you put a video up, 24 hours, it's all tagged up. And then the content creator goes and looks at the video before it goes live and approves the things that are correct, right? And then the blockchain pays this guy another penny. So suddenly this is using things like this, yeah.
But on the other side of things, I wanted to ask you, like, so I understand it's like it's your own platform, it's your own app, and that's super awesome. But on the side of YouTube has the videos there.
Yep.
Have you thought of like building a browser add-on?
Yeah, there was.
That's my question.
So on one of the slides there is a word that's called a plugin.
Yeah.
So this is actually where I'd probably sit down with Paul and I'd work out how to do this, right? Because we can build a plugin, so it sits there and the video plays on YouTube, and the plugin, this interface.
That's right. And it ingests the data from YouTube.
That's what I was going to say.
You could do
I
this.
think your biggest problem is that you're trying to drive traffic to a new video plan.
Yeah.
And it's going to drive your customer acquisition costs through the fucking move. If you could make this a skin, right, that I can open any app, and if I've downloaded yours, it's a skin over any app that I upload content.
That's exactly what we
do.
do.
That's your route to market. Trying to compete with these video platforms and send people to another one is going to burn your money.
And people, the least resistance you want to have least resistance possible. Like, want to have one-click download ping, it's working, you know?
Yeah, so,
Otherwise, people are inherently lazy.
so to Paul's question, and I think I mentioned it, but I'll emphasize it again. We did not build a platform.
Okay, yeah.
We built this as a decentralized model that sits on the artist's own website. So it's a web embed, right? So I'll go to the data, let's go to the previous page. I'll show you if this will open up. Get the mouse to work. Where's the mouse gone? There we go. This will hopefully open. This is Bubble Biscuit's website. Yeah. So he's already sending fans in to do merch and tickets and stuff like that. His fans, the ones that actually are more engaging, the 1% of his audience that actually, and he's doing a discount on something, I guess. And let's just scroll down here, and this is where the video sits. So we can put this video on any website, in any app that exists. Our deal with United Masters is that it goes in the United Masters app. It's not that we're building, we want to be the pipes.
Listen, I get it, right? But
Yeah.
you could get, if you were super successful, you might get 5,000 artists doing this.
Yeah.
But in that day, the stat I had in mind was there's 207 million people that consider themselves professional content creators. They all want additional revenue, and they all need this.
Yeah, so
right? That's the scalable market.
So, yeah, 100%. So we can't do everything at once, right? So it's baby steps, right? So we built a tech, we haven't sold it anywhere, in terms of we've done these projects, we created value, we created great validation through our tech side and with the music industry. This whole next 24 months is about doing 200 or 300, working out the scale problems, doing the AI, doing the blockchain, integrating some of that tech, so that then at the end of that period, we can say, hey, we've done 500 music videos, the yield is this is how much money we're making, we've got 1 billion data points, we're selling this data to brands, we've got like 200 brand clients. Suddenly then, my budget to make noise, and I've already got an ecosystem, so I've got content creators, I've got the two sides of my marketplace a little bit solved. Then you can actually put it all on an app. And then what's interesting from a blockchain perspective, and I'm going to be a little bit down the dark alleyway here, we would probably then say, fans come to the video on the artist website, that's fine. But if they view it on the Victor's app, the more they engage in content, the more interactions they're generating, the more actual point sales score, and the more discounts they can get. So suddenly this is like an engage to earn model. But again, this is something roadmap-wise slowed down. But until you've got kind of critical mass of everything, I want to avoid the platform conversation.
Go ahead,
Yeah, so this is a technical term, fucking awesome. Sorry if I offended anybody, but I'm seriously impressed. Two things. There is a company called Incent.me, and they've already built that blockchain engagement customer framework, their pre-revenue. I know the CEO and founder.
That would be awesome.
I think they've already got all that working.
I'm a big believer in, the AI question is an interesting one, like in the sense of would we build our own AI or just work with Google or Gemini?
Yeah.
I would come to you and ask you that question, we would have a debate about it.
Yeah.
Do I need to build that? I'm not a big believer necessarily if something can come off the shelf or I can partner with someone to create value and they're an expert in it, I'd rather partner to do that.
And they've got patents all around that and so forth, so worldwide. So first of all, I can set that up for you. Just as a side, my audio company, its clients, everything from Disney, Apple, Netflix, Sony Music, basically all of the content providers for music and games and cinema. You name the top 400 companies in that space, they're all my clients and have been for a decade plus. If there was a chance where you wanted to drop a stone in the ocean and create a ripple, I could set up those invitations for you.
Making this whole next part of the business is about making ripples.
Yes.
Big ripples.
Yes. And Sony is on. You've already got a relationship with them, but Sony Entertainment is a whole other beast.
Yeah.
And so
And so you're quite techy because they are techy people.
Yeah. So congratulations. That's awesome.
That's the scary question.
So if I can give one tip with the AI input as well, what I have seen is in a lot of companies is what you discovered. The conversational endpoint you had is the most valuable thing. And that enhancement of actually using general AI, like large language models which have maybe weights over everything, You know, you don't have to rebuild. The model, like he says, is not valuable. But the weights you're building in these conversations are invaluable.
Yeah, okay.
So if I can give you one tip, just focus on this conversational thing and just forget all about the rest is just side story. This thing is going to go through the roof, and you will see it's just like beyond anything you have ever done, because we used to have these questionnaires, you know, and try to catch customers. And I see this in genetics, I see this all over the place. So you came to something which is so many entrepreneurs are now finding.
Yeah.
And so just
no.
my tip is focus on that damn thing.
Yeah.
And build your weights.
Yeah.
So if you know what weights are in the large language models.
No.
Okay, so that we hire him.
Exactly. I mean, as I say, start this conversation with, you know, we try and be a visionary and try and break the toys and have fun and do new things, and then work with lots of people to actually, you know, enhance the future value.
So, last question. Did you have a good birthday?
Yes, I have never been serenaded by such a beautiful man with a beautiful voice in a language I can understand.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your birthday with us.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you very much for coming to Zurich.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We've got one more presentation, then we're going to break for lunch. We've got 2 panels this afternoon. We're going to have a panel which is either, I've got 4 questions, thank you, David and Zane, for the questions. It's going to be a quantum, post-quantum. We'll let you define the title of the panel. So we're going to do a no self-respecting investor summit could happen without a post-quantum summit. So we're going to do one this after lunch. For that, and we'll do as well, we'll get the investors back on stage and to talk about some themes that I've got some questions for as well, so watch for those on the WhatsApp chat. So the next speaker, Zane, which is like a one, we all just need, you know, we don't even need to know your last name, it's just Zane, right? Just Zane. Zane was